Hey guys, Boy601, and today we're taking a look at the newest gun to come to Battlefield 5. That's going to be the Boys AT rifle, so stay tuned for all of its quirks and features. So like I said guys, the newest gun to come this week in the Tides of War is the Boys AT rifle. It is going to be a primary weapon for those recon out there, one that can do some damage to tanks and vehicles and whatnot, but how do you unlock it? Well, it's the usual Tides of War, and I will say there are definitely some difficult tasks you have to go through to get this one. The first one is probably the hardest of them, and that's going to be to, as a squad, earn 1,000 score using a towable weapon or civilian vehicles. Now, while the game does suggest you do this in Firestorm, you don't really need to do it there in Firestorm. Instead, it can be accomplished in a regular multiplayer match. The easiest thing to do is either find a towable AA or a towable 6-pounder or a T cannon and go to town, park it up on a common lane, and use that to get your 1,000 score. Remember, being in it while you capture a point counts as score. So if you can just ride around and capture a couple of command posts, that's going to be the easiest. If not, damaging a couple enemies in those stationary weapons is going to be that. After that, you can either go the Firestorm route or the multiplayer route. I went with the multiplayer route because that seemed to be the easiest. After that, you're going to have to disable the turret of an enemy tank, then you're going to have to disable the engine of an enemy tank, and then you'll have to destroy an enemy tank. You can do those relatively quickly. It all just really depends on luck and getting it right. After that, you can capture 3 objectives or resupply points while in a vehicle. Nice and easy. You can knock that one out in Conquest. And the last thing you need to do is you'll earn 3,000 score using vehicles or stationary weapons. Once again, really easy. They have that tank playlist going on right now that is your best friend to get this all done. And once you've gone through all of those steps, you get the Boys AT rifle. And I have to say, it is the most powerful sniper rifle in the game. That is for sure, but it does have a couple quirks and features. Now, the number one thing is it is an anti-tank rifle, and it comes with some pros and cons. Much like the medium machine gun class of the support, you have to be in a bipodable position in order to aim down sights with this weapon. If not, you kind of get a tighter hip fire for your ADS, and that is what DICE has used to balance this weapon. This weapon does massive damage. It does 100 damage to the body or to the head, out to 100 meters. So that's a one-shot kill. Now, to balance this out, it does have a blisteringly slow rate of fire. Default, it's only going to do 22 rounds per minute with an upgrade later on of 26. Some other quirks and features. Well, it is a 50 caliber gun, so it is going to damage some armor. You can do 20s, like 23, 27 when you're talking about transports, and then you'll average like 13, 14 on the mediums and the assault guns, and then you'll only get like 6 or 7 on heavy tanks. And this does also depend on where you're hitting them. You can that varies wildly and a lot. I really found that this gun was about supporting your teammates when using it during a large firefight. It really helped kind of support your teammates, and while it'll be very difficult to solo a vehicle on your own, your small amounts of damage kind of seem to add up to like having to have your team take one less shot against that vehicle over the length or the duration of that tank fight or that anti-vehicle fight. It does, you whittle away at the tanks, and it does feel like you're helping out the team, but you are not the primary way to take out these vehicles. And that's just something you'll have to remember. Now, on the other side, you do have its anti-personnel ability. It's very effective, but it is a very tricky weapon to use. With only 22 rounds per minute, you better know where you're firing in. And one of the things I noticed is it does seem to have a very low muzzle speed compared to a lot of the other sniper rifles, this making it a little bit harder to actually hit people at those further ranges. And I think this helps keep it balanced as well. But it is a wonderfully fun but very tricky sniper rifle to play, as you have to be in the right situation. And if you are using this weapon correctly and you're in the right situation, it's definitely effective. Now, let's go ahead and head on down its specializations tree. I went all left-hand side, though I may switch it up because we'll talk about its last specialization and how it's implemented right now. Anyways, swings and swivels was the first one. A lot of time I wouldn't go for swings and swivel, but because of the way this weapon performs, mainly it's a one-hit kill in close ranges, I almost feel obligated when I'm in close ranges to attempt to take that shot to see if I can actually get a kill with it and then switch over to a secondary weapon. So this kind of assists me in that. The other thing is a recoil buffer. You don't really need less recoil on a single shot weapon. That's not really useful. Slings and swivels, I see where it could be useful. After that, it's going to be either flashless propellant or variable zeroing. I went with flashless propellant mainly for the next benefit right below it, which is going to be that machined bolt for that higher rate of fire. It's going to boost the rate of fire up to 26 rounds per minute. The other option you have is going to be a quick reload. Now, this weapon does have a very long reload speed. It's going to be about 4.08 seconds to reload this weapon. You're going to have 4 in your magazine with 1 in the chamber, so you can have basically up to 5. Not exactly the biggest magazine, but that's 5 kills you have in your magazine if you're doing it right. Finally, the last specializations, well, you're either going to get APCR bullets or high velocity bullets. Now, APCR bullets, they do seem to be bugged at this time. I went and played around trying to use them, and nothing was popping up. No damage marker. Well, some damage markers would pop up sometimes, like it looked like when I would disable vehicles, but I wasn't getting like number of points for damage. So I think at this time they are bugged. The other thing is those high velocity bullets, which of course is an increase of 10% for it, which could help if you are trying to kind of spec this into the anti-personnel, though. In my time, I definitely feel like if they get the APCR bullets working correctly, that's going to be the one I stick with, because I was having a blast trying to take out vehicles with this thing. One of the things that surprised me is how effective it is if you can sneak up onto any of the gun carriers, whether that be the Archer or the Stug. Both of these ones, because they don't have a rotating turret, if you can get into the sides of them, well, you will be able to play Ring Around the Rosie with them and just torment that poor driver and ultimately end up taking them out. I think I took out 2 or 3 of them by playing Ring Around the Rosie. Now, unfortunately, once I took them out, the explosion did take me out as well. But I feel like it's a good sacrifice if I'm able to take out an Archer for my team. Overall, guys, the boys AT rifle, is it a pain to get? Yeah, it's kind of a pain to get. Is it the best sniper rifle in the game? Kinda. In certain situations, yeah, it's going to be a fantastic weapon, but most of the time it is not very versatile. You need to be in the right situation in order to use it, and ultimately I think it's worth picking up just for the fun and the play style and how it kind of changes up what the recon gets to do and what the recon can do, much like the POA artillery. Very similar in how it changes the kind of play style that you're going to use. It delivers kind of that ultra long range sniper action for you, and it delivers a weapon that can do it, and it's a ton of fun while playing with it. But like I said, you need to be in the right situation. So yeah, guys, that is the wonderful boys AT rifle. What do you guys think of it? Let me know down in the comments below. If you like the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. See ya.